Hello, my name is Tim McKeely, and in this video we're going to be discussing column filtering in Quincy. We're going to talk about what column filters are, how we apply them, two different types of column filters or two different ways of applying column filters, how we remove them, and proper processing of a case in order to enable column searching. So let me hop into Quincy and let's learn by doing. I've already opened a case column filtering demo. So let's open up our grid. We really need to be in our grid. When we talk about column filtering, we're talking about filtering on grid columns. So it makes sense to have the grid open. All right, first let's explore the two different places you can apply column filters. The first is here, this little filter at the top of each column. And the second place is actually directly in the search bar. I'll show you a syntax for doing that. Most of you won't have this feature. If we click on Advanced, we can build column searches here. This is an unreleased version of Quincy. It will be out in the July release that you'll have this builder, but you don't actually need it. You can enter the column searches directly in here, and they should work. So I'll show you those two mechanisms by which to apply filters. So let's start with the easiest one, which is applying a column level filter using the little filter icon. So we're going to apply a path filter. Let's go ahead and click on that icon. And you can see, and you will see this with almost every filter button that you click on, you get presented with two options or two entry points, this first one and this second one. And they are separated by an operator, which can be and or. Above each entry point is the operator for that entry point, if you will. So contains, equals, is not equal to, ends with, starts with, are the options you can apply to this column, this type of column, which is a string column. And then you can and that or with that with another filter criteria using those same basic operators. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Let's do contains stack, which is this one, and we'll do copy. And that should get these, but not ones like this, for example, because we're going to and it. So let's go ahead and apply that. And you can see it did it correct already. It dropped the few that didn't have copy. And let me point out a couple of things. First, you can see the filter is applied because the column has turned yellow. In addition, two filters have been added to this filter select. If I open it, you can see these bottom three. These are my default filters. I'll remove them in a second just to make things a little bit clearer. But they're irrelevant. Just ignore them for now. These two filters are the ones that were added as a function of applying the column level filter. And you can see, look at the syntax. Object file contains stack. Object file contains copy. Those were the two we applied. And if we want to remove them, we can just click on one and it will remove it. Also, when we applied this filter, if you were looking up here, you would notice that this icon popped up. That means a grid filter is applied. We can, as we can with all our filters, remove it by just clicking on this. If we click this, this will remove the filter entirely. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll see that this disappears. Let's go ahead and do that again. Only this time we're going to do stack or copy, and we're going to go ahead and click filter, and we're going to see now we got a few other ones like this one, for example, stack. It's got stack but no copy, as do these two, and they appeared this time and didn't the time before. Now let's go ahead and remove these filters this way. See, we can come here and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and remove the stack option, and when we click on that, it will automatically remove that. So now we just have ones that have only copy, or at least have copy. And if we can go ahead and click on this, that will remove that filter as well. And now basically we're back to our original data set. So that's applying filters there. There are a couple of things that are worth noting. There are a few columns, like file category, that have special filters. And we'll probably add more of these. They seem to be intuitive. People like them. It will show you all the options that are available for file category. And you can go ahead and click on a few of them. And then if you filter them, the only thing that's worthy of noting here, if we click filter now, you're going to see that this file filter updates itself. So you can see 3 filters were added here. You can see file category equal to, now this is a little weird, file categories are actually numbers, so I apologize. So instead of like live folder, it's 1215, and instead of whatever, Microsoft, it's 821. But now if we click back on this filter again, instead of having the full list, we just have the ones that are available, that are reactive to the currently applied filter. Some people like this, some people don't like it, some people wish we kept the whole list, some people, well, people actually requested this functionality, that's why it's here. But in any event, if you don't like it, if you want us to keep the whole thing posted on the message board, we'll consider it. In any event, we can also clear the filters by just clicking here, clear, and that will kill all the filters associated with this column. Now, the last thing that's worthy of noting is cross-column. By default, cross-column filters are ANDed. So if you want to do path is, let's go ahead and, oh shoot, I clicked on it, which is now going to apply a sort, but let's go ahead and do contains copy or stack, filter that. So we've got these, whatever, this 10, 11 records. And now if we come over here and we do, you can see it only offers us this. Actually, let's do a different one. Let's do object name. And we'll do, let's do PNG. Oh no, they're all PNGs, so let's not do that. Here we'll do this. Contains 2. Now what you should find is it's ANDing these 2. It's not ORing them. It won't add records. It's only going to subtract them. So let's go ahead and filter that, and you'll see now we have less, because basically we've got the AND of those filters. So if you don't want that functionality, if you want to OR them, you have to enter the realm of complex here. And let me show you how you do that. You right-click here, and you come down here to filter operators and click on that. And that will expose all the filter operators applied. You can see OR was last applied here, AND was applied here. And those are the filter operators that govern those columns. Let me just clear this. Let me show you that at work. If I come here and I go filter, we'll do copy and stack again. And if I click filter, you see it switched it to AND. It used to be OR. Just a second ago it was OR. If I click on this again and I do copy, well, shoot, let me clear this first so I don't get funky result, but let's do this. Shoot. Copy. Watch, when I click OR, it's going to automatically switch that. OR stack. And now we have the OR operator. But if I want to do we started down this path of explanation, the entering the realm of complex, because we wanted to alter the way cross columns were effectuated. We didn't want them to be ANDed, we wanted them to be ORed. To do that, we come over here and we click right there. This is our cross column operator, and now we can go across columns, and now instead of ANDing it, we're going to ORing it. So if I go here and I do 2, and I click filter, it started out just giving me the 2, but then it went through and it picked up all these, and it added them because even though they're not reactive to this search, we had clicked on the OR operator and we applied the OR operator. That's an important point to note. It will always default back to the AND operator after every refresh. But in any event, that is cross-column filters. If you don't ever want to toy with that complexity, you don't have to. You can live very happily with all these filters always hidden and just utilizing the column level filters. All right, let me go ahead and clear the columns and show you the one last way to apply filters, and that is directly here through search. As I told you, in the upcoming version, you'll be able to utilize this column search, and so let's go ahead and do object ID, select object ID. Because I select that, it will properly choose the options that I can apply. I'm just going to do equal, and I'm going to do 1001. If I add that to the search, it will do object ID equal 1001, and I can just go ahead and run that search, and it'll pop it in here. And we're going to see that only this record should be responsive, exactly what we thought. So now, if you don't have the version that has this yet, if you're on an older version, that's no problem. You can actually just type that search. What I just had right there, just copy this, paste it here, and then if you go ahead and run that, that will also work. That's really all that it does when you click on that button, is it pops it in here and it automatically runs it. So you can type in object ID equals. The only trick here really is knowing the syntax. Certain columns have certain operators that work with them based on whether they're number or text or whatever. So object ID is a number, so it supports all these things. But if we had a date field here instead, let's do created object file creation date. Well, those are the same ones actually, obviously, because it's a date. But a string would be different, and a checkbox or radio button would have different operators. And so knowing those is a little bit tricky. So if you don't know them off the top of your head, and you just want to wait, just wait for the next July release, and you'll have this builder here, and it will remove the need to remember them. But again, if you don't yet have that, you can always just type it in. Now, let me show you one last important thing. In order to apply the type of search that we just did here, the column level searching into the search bar, you have to have properly processed your evidence. So let me go into process data and showing you there's just one item you have to have clicked on. Otherwise, it won't work. So give me a second here. Let's let it load. All right, and we just want to click on Customize Options. And we go into Content Refinement. And down here at the bottom, it is Include Extended Information in the Index. And by what we mean, in fact, when we said extended information in the index is column data, database data, now gets included in the index, and as a function of that, you can search on it using the search bar. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about with column level filters. It's a very powerful capability, but it's also a little complex, so hopefully I was reasonably good at explaining it to you. If not, though, as always, feel free to post any questions you have to the message board. Thank you very much.